Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Today we are going to discuss the glycogen metabolism. Glycogen metabolism comprised of two sections or two metabolic pathways. One is glycogenesis and second is glycogenolysis. Today we will discuss the first part, which is glycogenesis. Before discussing the cycle, we will overview what's the glycogen. Glycogen is the storage form of the glucose in animals, bacteria, etc. Human beings. The glucose, when become excessive, it's convert into the glycogen. But in case of plants, the excessive glucose is converted into starch. And the main location for the storage of glucose into glycogen is the liver, which pertains to about 6 to 8, which is responsible 6 to 8% of the glucose storage in the glycogen, whereas muscles causes only 1 to 2%. But because the muscle mass is more in comparison to the liver size, therefore the quantity of glycogen which is formed or synthesized in muscle is about the 3 times greater than that which is synthesized in the liver. Therefore, on the average, glycogen which is synthesized in muscle is about 250 gram, whereas in liver it's only the 75 grams. Glycogen is stored in the liver and the muscle in the form of the granules. Because glycogen storage is in the cytosol, uh, is uh, is preferred or is in the higher fashion, because the enzyme which are responsible for the glycogen synthesis, for the glycogenesis, and for the breakage of the glycogen back into the glucose, which is called glycogenolysis, both are present in the cytosol. Here is the structure or the description of the glycogen. Glycogen is the polymeric structure. It's highly branched tree-like structure. It's formed by the multiple glucose units when they are joined together. And in the center, there is presence of the protein core, because the protein core is responsible for the branching and for the accumulation of the glucose into glycogen. The function of glycogen consists of mainly to maintain the blood glucose level, because if there is more glucose running in the blood, it becomes very dangerous, uh, particularly in case of the diabetes mellitus, when the glucose is not metabolized completely, it's not providing the energy, but continuously it is making the becoming the uh, part of the blood and the urine. Therefore, this glucose level must be kept at the optimum level due to the function of the uh, certain enzyme which are responsible for the conversion of glucose into glycogen, and particularly glucose level between the two meals, because when we will take meal, there is high level glucose level becomes high in the blood. If the if the enzymes are functioning appropriately, accurately, then the excessive glucose will be converted into glycogen, and it will be stored into the liver and the muscles. But the liver glycogen store increases much after when we take meal having consisting of more amount of carbohydrates in comparison to the fats and the proteins. And this stored glycogen will be depleted, or the will be breaking down to provide glucose back, particularly during the fasting. And the muscle glycogen behaves as a fuel reservoir of the body, because when there is there is need for the ADP, then this provide the muscle glycogen provides the energy in the form of ATP for the muscle contractions. Why store glycogen is a fuel reserve? This is a question. Because the fat is the fuel reserve of the body, but the fat is not preferred when we need glucose. But the glycogen comes in the ground and it will provide the glucose and provide the energy to meet the daily requirements. What are the reasons behind it? Why glycogen is preferred instead of fats? The reason is that the glycogen is can be made rapidly mobilized. It means that it's readily available reservoir of the glucose or the energy, and glycogen generate energy even in the absence of oxygen. And brain, depends on the continuous, it needs the continuous supply of the glucose. And we have discussed it earlier that the brain needs about 120 gram of glucose daily, which is much more. And along with the brain, when we are sleeping, our kidneys are functioning, our lungs are doing function, and they also need the continuous supply of the oxygen, continuous supply of glucose. And this glucose is provided by the from the glycogen. On the other hand, the fat mobilization is very slow, because uh, fats needs surplus of the bundle supply of the oxygen, and it can't produce the glucose to the extent which can meet the requirement of the body. Therefore, we can say that the fat is considered as the fixed deposit, whereas the glycogen is in the current or the saving account of the bank, which is readily available. Here is the simple diagram which is showing that if the glucose becomes surplus in the blood, then this glucose goes towards the liver, and liver store the glucose as the glycogen. The process will be the glycogenesis. But when the glucose is needed, then the glycogen from the liver will be breakdown to provide the ready supply of the glucose, and the process will be glycogenolysis, which we will discuss later. Here is the glycogenesis. Glycogenesis is in fact the synthesis of the glycogen from the glucose, and glycogen takes place in the cytosol. And what it requires uh, high concentration of the glucose units, ADP and the UTP, adenine triphosphate and the uridine triphosphate units. The first step is the synthesis of UDP glucose. For the formation of UDP glucose, the enzyme are different in the muscle and the liver. In muscles, hexokinase enzyme is present, whereas in the liver, the enzyme which perform this function is glucokinase. What it will do, we can see from here that the glucose, by the functioning of glucokinase, it's converted into glucose 6 phosphate. It means that the phosphate group is incorporated or attached at the sixth position. By the functioning of phosphoglucomutase, the phosphate group which is present the sixth position go over to the position number 1 to yield glucose 1 phosphate. And once there is formation of the glucose 1 phosphate, it's going to be attached with the uridine diphosphate. Uridine diphosphate comes from the uridine triphosphate. It gives its two pyro phosphate, means two inorganic phosphate groups are given off, whereas the one phosphate group remains with the UTP. Therefore, there is formation of UDP glucose formation by the action of the enzyme which is called pyrophosphorylase. Here is representation that in glucose 1-phosphate group is present on the first position by the action of UTP. UTP consists of the 3 phosphate groups, but 2 are released in the form of pyrophosphate, and only one is attached with the overall. This is the overall unit of the UTP. Where, now it consists of only 1 phosphate, it's monophosphate. But on doing the linkage with the already phosphate group which is present on the glucose, there is formation of the 2 phosphate groups, therefore it's called diphosphate. And the formation is formation of UDP glucose is established. This is the uridine unit. It consists of, in fact, the pyrimidine unit, but the 2 carbonyl groups are attached, therefore it is uracil units. Uracil attached with the ribose ring, which is in fact the glycosylated. Therefore, the UDP is providing the key function over here. Next is the requirement of the primer to initiate glycogenesis. Primer is in fact the small fragment or the small part of the glycogen which is present already there. But if there is no presence or the less presence of the glycogen to behave as the primer, then this function is carried out by the specific protein, and this protein is called glycogenin. The glycogenin takes the part because it accepts the glucose unit from the UDP glucose. In fact, the hydroxyl group of the amino acid, which is tyrosine, which is present in the glycogenin, it forms linkage with the glucose units, and it means that the glucose units are attaching through the hydroxyl group of the tyrosine, which is present in the glycogenin. Here you can see the UDP glucose, which is formed in the last step on by the action of the enzyme glycogen initiator synthase. Glycogenin itself takes up a few glucose residues, which behaves as the small fragment or the primer. And once the primer is formed, glycogen primer is formed, it goes on accepting the rest of the glucose units which are present in the cell. Therefore, you can see from here the UTP unit which is attached with the glucose is released over here. But with the glycogenin, the protein with the protein from the tyrosine end, these glucose units are goes on attaching. Therefore, the small fragment of the glycogenin and the glucose units is formed, which is called glycogen primer. Next is the glycogen synthesis by the glycogen synthase. In fact, the glycogen synthase, what it will do in the formation of, its function is to form the linkage between the glucose unit, and this linkage is called 1,4-glycosidic linkage. Where is it established? One terminal is the reducing end, whereas other one is the non-reducing end. Reducing end is present near the where there is presence of the carbonyl group, which may be belong from the aldehyde or the ketonic group, but at the non-reducing end, this carbonyl functionality is not present. And through the this enzyme, the glycosidic bonds are formed, and the glucose units are goes on attaching with one another, but from the non-reducing end. But in fact, the glycogen is the branched tree-like structure. It's the very complex and the complicated structure. Therefore, the role of the glycogen synthase is only the attachment of the glucose unit in the linear fashion by establishing the 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Whereas the branching took place by the enzyme which is called glycosyl alpha 4,6 transferase. What it will do, it will in fact, you can see over here, by the action of glycogen synthase, the glucose units are going to be attached in the linear fashion, like 10 glucose units are showing over here, then 16 and so on, lot of, and the lot of UDPs are going to be released in the cell. The glucose are, you can say, free. They are going to be attached along with the primer, but there is only establishment of the 1,4 glycosidic linkage. When there is formation of 1,6 glycosidic linkage which is at the right angle to the first one, the enzyme took part is the glucosyl alpha 4,6 transferase. In fact, it picks up the 5, 6, 8 units of the glucose from the linear chain, and it will attach over here. Thus, you can see that 7 units are present over here up to 10. 11 and next one are going to be attached at the right angle direction, and at the 90 angle, by forming the alpha 1,6 bond. It means that when there is formation of the long glucose unit through the 1,4 glycosidic linkage, they are going to be break up from here, and these units are attaching at the 90 angle direction, or the you can say the 1,6 bond is formed to yield the branching. Here is the clear picture. It's the 1,4 bond. This is the first carbon, this is the fourth one, this is the first, fourth and first linkage, but here it's the sixth one, 4, 5, and this is 6, and this is first. And 1,6 linkage is responsible for the branching of the glucose units, which are establishing in the form of the polymer. Next is the further elongation and the branching. Further hundreds units of the glucose are branched uh, in this fashion, and in the linear fashion they are causing the elongation, and branching is established in this way. Therefore, the main role is for the glycogen synthase for the linear fashion, and for the glycosyl 4,6 transferase for the, you can say, for the branching. Therefore, the glycogen is formed at the end, which is highly complex branched structure and consisting of hundreds and thousands of the glucose units. Here is the overall description for the metabolic pathway, while starting from the glucose, step by step, how the glucose is converted into glycogen, and the overall reaction of the glycogen synthesis for each addition of the glucose unit. It means that this is the growing chain of the glucose. At each step, the glucose unit comes, needed 2 ADPs, results in the formation of the glycogen polymer, and this is in this way the energy is consumed. For assignments, you have to prepare the list of the diseases which are caused by the excessive glycogen synthesis. In the next lecture, we will discuss the uh, breakdown of the glycogen through the glycogenolysis to give the glucose units. Best wishes.